ultimate disrespect. Ultimate disrespect. That's what we witnessed today. This Suleiman Smoothie Karim, Stryla Gabi. And for my international audience, that means he is disrespecting us in the most grotesque fashion possible. Stryla Gabi. Stryla Masimba. He is the big M that Thabo Mbeki was talking about that one time when he was on that stage. He is exuberantly giving the whole of South Africa the middle finger through his lawyers. And I can't really clap for a legal strategy based on a lie, based on deception, because at the core of this is a healthy man who used to attend every ANC gathering in Northwest, who was up and about collecting hundreds of millions of rands without anxiety, without psychosis, without any psychiatric impediment whatsoever. He came to the Madlanga Commission in March, 2 days, perfectly healthy. That man is in perfect health. So this whole fiction around he has this psychiatric condition that allows him to go to Kauai to order his peanut butter protein bomb, but does not allow him to go and explain who his auditors are, where his financial records are, what is his relationship with Hangwani Maumela, what is his relationship with Mr. Mutsumi. All due respect to you, Baba, Saklonipa. Highest levels of mhlonipment. This man and his legal team have created a ruse. And even though he gets away for the day, we can't clap hands for that. We can't clap hands for even the legal team. And I'm going to speak about why I didn't like the legal arguments in and of themselves. This man is only doing this because he has extreme and powerful political connections. We mustn't be naive about this. We mustn't be naive. He is doing this because he knows if he goes to the criminal justice system, he will not face any music. He knows this. This man, Suleiman Smoothie Karim, makes hundreds of millions of rands from government tenders in the Northwest and other places. But he does not think he owes an explanation to the taxpayers who have funded his lifestyle, whose money he has used to buy mansions, and these lawyers that are all over the place preventing him from being accountable. That is the audacity of unethical wealth. This man did not build an empire selling Coca-Colas. He didn't build Pick and Pay or Checkers or whatever is one of the most prolific businesses here. His whole empire is built on tenderism. So he mustn't actually walk around as if the public is bothering him by asking him to account. The wealth that he, Hangwani Maumela, are enjoying is coming from hospitals where people are dying because of lack of medication, where people are dying because there's a shortage of doctors and nurses, where there's a shortage of beds. That money that they build those mansions with is not from fresh air. It is money that was meant to go to the poorest of the poor, to the sick, to the needy. That's the money that is buying these blue Lamborghinis, Panganis, and all of these mansions that are in Sandton. Grotesque mansions. So there is no, why are they bothering me type of mentality or attitude which is justified from this fellow. This, what we saw today, is a farce of legal gymnastic. Absolute disrespect of the commission and the fact-finding mandate of the public. This is an insult to the public and to our intelligence. Really, because they're trying to come here and act as if this man is sick. He's not sick. We know that already. We already know that this man is not sick. I think the commission cannot make an expression of anger. Right? They have to be fair. They have to be balanced. Commissioner Madlanga was doing his best to keep any anger down today. But I think that's not something that can be done here online. Let me be the anger translator for 2 seconds, if you'll allow me. This is grotesque hosh curry behavior. disgusting hoshkari behavior. This is repugnant legal mischief. PKTT, General Tumsani Khumalo, please look into the affairs of this man with robustness. This man needs to be arrested without delay. I'm happy the commission is laying charges, but more needs to be done. There is something that stinks to high heaven about his business empire. PKTT, GCI Ops, whoever is necessary. Look into this man. We need this man to face the music. One of these days, we need to hear that song. Bopu Hoshi Bopa. Bopu Karim Bopa. Bopingane Bopa. This guy and his business associates stink to high heaven. The NPA needs to show us that they are not captured. They need to show when these charges are laid by the secretary of the commission, they need to move with the quickness. They need to put a serious task team on this man. We are already worried about the lack of movement on the Hangwani Maumela case. Billions looted, 2 billion looted, gone. Hospital beds, doctors, nurses, all of this money that could have been spent on something that would keep people alive has been used for a Hosh Karimama, blue cars, and a mansion in Sandton. And he's still not arrested, still free, still having coffees and blue cheese and whatever else they have there when they have those meetings with other Hosh Kari dons. It's a travesty. Mr. Jacob Zuma faced legal consequences for walking out of a commission. Today, we witnessed further disrespect of the judiciary. If this guy never faces any criminal charges, even for this action, we will know that the justice system is weak. Let me give you my thoughts on the of Advocate Premit, his presentation today. I was not impressed with the quality of the argument. It was a lot of volume in substitution for depth and salience. I got 6 points, but your 6 points have got nothing in them. Sometimes people substitute eloquence and proficiency in English for actual substance. And I felt that today was one of those days. And I'm going to play you the clip a little bit later so you can watch how it went down. But these are my reasons for not being impressed. The conduct of Mr. Suleiman Smoothie Karim from the beginning has been uncooperative and obstructionist. There has been a pattern of conduct from the man. From the first time he had to give a statement to the commission, his lawyers, himself, they were acting in a fashion which showed that they were hostile to the commission, hostile to assisting the commission. Even at some point, there was a skirmish between the commissioners, the evidence leaders, and this guy. At another stage, his lawyers had to be told to their face, "You are a liar." Commissioner Madlanga had to do that. There is a pattern of conduct from the jump which has been uncooperative and obstructionist. It's not an isolated thing. He went to court, tried to interdict, and then when he failed to get the interdict, still came and applied for an extension. They shouldn't have given him that extension in February, to be quite honest with you. They abused legal holidays. They abused religious holidays, saying that they needed to go XYZ. This guy never intended to go to the commission. And in fact, his religious leaders should tell him to go to the commission. How can you allow this guy to sully your religion with this behavior? Tell him to go to the commission. Now, the pattern of conduct, the non-response this time around to the commission for days, the submission to the commission of the doctor's report only on the 12th, that was deliberately designed to insult, to delay, to derail. This whole thing of, no, something else happened on the 11th. What was going on between the 29th and the 11th that made you fail to submit to the order of the commission? Nothing was going on. They deliberately did this to frustrate the commission. The insistence that the report that they finally submitted on the 12th was private, confidential, could not be viewed by the commission's medical specialist was obstructive behavior in and of itself. Tack! They have abused, it's my second point, mental health and healthcare privacy protections. They come there and say, no, our guy is so sick, we've got a medical expert, his report cannot be reviewed by another medical expert, just take our word for it, take our guy's word for it. There are factual contradictions in the report of that medical expert. There are factual contradictions in what they originally told media. They said at the beginning this guy had a heart attack. Then now it's a psychiatric condition that is so secret that it can never be discussed. What a farce. Then they said the man could only go out if his doctor signed. Then they said, no, but even nurses can sign. And he needs to go out on these outings from the hospital because remember, we were all under the impression that this man is bedridden. He's so sick with madlangitis that he can't go to the commission, he can't think, he can't function, he can't do anything. Only to find out he's drinking smoothies, he's chilling, he's going up and down to Northwest. I am going to say I believe this man is conducting his affairs unencumbered. This is just a farce. The doctor changed the story about who is allowed to exit. The doctor is not an objective source. He's more than even what do you call it? Hired gun. He's somebody who's participating in nonsense. Advocate Pramid was very arbitrary, insisting that his solution is the preferred and correct one, saying, well, we have less invasive means, just talk to the doctor, this is it. Poor use of constitutional limitation of rights. Poor use of that, to be quite honest with you. And he was making it seem as if it's less invasive ways or nothing. And the commission was correct to call him out on those things. His debate style, actually, I want to point it out, is doubling down. If they show you that your guy is a hired gun, he's like, well, if he's a hired gun, that's more reason for you to listen to him. It's a stubborn debate style, and in some instances, he used a sleight of hand. Let me explain. He's stubborn because he doesn't want to concede an obvious point, whatever the obvious point may be. Even when the doctor is accurately described as a hired gun, he says, then let's listen to the doctor, see how hired the gun actually is. That's just a delay tactic and also a doubling down on the point instead of conceding that your guy is compromised, we need another way. But he won't, obviously, his client paid him not to do that. But we must still call out the poor argument for what it is. Here's the sleight of hand thing that he likes to do. He will say, for example, right, what am I trying to put across? He will try to create a false consensus. Say, no, we already agree. For example, you say, well, the medical report is not challenged. Right? It's not challenged. We agree. So if the medical report is not challenged, you guys cannot actually say, my guy doesn't have mens rea or whatever. My guy has mens rea. Now, that's not true. The report actually is challenged. And they're trying to strengthen the quality of their challenge by saying, let us have another medical expert look at it. Let your guy get an independent assessment. Then they lock the thing in the box of no privacy rights, etc., etc. Do you have powers to actually force us? And then he comes back and says, but we agreed. No, they didn't agree. That's a sleight of hand. They didn't agree. So you can't come back later on and say, no, actually, we agree on this medical report. There's no consensus. Then he overcomplicates things that are simple. The fact is, there's no acceptable or satisfactory explanation for why this man was not at the commission today or the other days. Everything else is just overcomplication of the fundamental and bottom line. He then starts to add issues about, but the elements of the crime have not been proven. That's not the question. The question actually is, has an acceptable explanation been given to the commission? No. That's it. Then he says, no, the doctor's report, you guys can't say my guy has got intent not to come to the commission because the doctor's report is not admissible. It's tainted. Now, the commission has a factual challenge. They have a factual challenge in the determination of the facts that they need to get to the bottom of. The financial records of Mr. Smoothie's companies do matter. He's doing hundreds of millions of rands in deals. With who? For what? Where's that money going? If those deals are part of corruption as it pertains to the terms of reference, the commission cannot make a determination based on the fact that these records will not be obtained. The issue of the auditor is also important because there are claims which were made by Mr. Suliman himself about that issue. He's an important witness because large amounts of money flowed through him to Hangwani Morgan Maumela, someone prolific in corruption scandals as they pertain to Tembisa Hospital. Now we don't know the connection fully. We only know about the 40 million, and that's not chump change. That's not money to buy guava juice at the taxi rank. That is significant money. Hangwani Maumela, Vusi Matlala, Mr. Mutsumi, Mike Van Vick, all seem to be connected, along with this person called Bishop. They're also connected to Brown Mkhotsi. And Brown Mkhotsi was busy sending messages and seems to also be connected to Minister Mkhunu. Where do all of these people fit and how do they fit in with each other? Now the commission cannot make a factual determination on the financial records because this guy has decided that he's going to claim psychiatric condition and hide behind that psychiatric condition to the bitter end. A strategic decision has been made here. Of course, this is not logical. Of course, we're not naive, and we have to say it plainly. What is the strategic decision that has been made? There's an appreciation that if this man testifies and cooperates, everything will be exposed. A political camp of business elites and political elites will collapse. So they've decided it's better to fight the issue of contempt of the Commissions Act than to fight the issue of corruption and fraud. Better to limit exposure and have public anger and disgust than to come out clean and let the public see what has really been happening. That's the strategic decision that has been made here. We must not forget why this is happening. One, this man has a link to Hangwani Maumela and to Vusi Matlala-Wetsa Manyala. Two, this man is the one who has been paying Brown Mokgotsi. Brown Mokgotsi was using his foundation to block tenders of rivals in Northwest. Remember, Hangwani Maumela was bidding for tenders through Alu Construction in Northwest, tenders of up to R1 billion. They haven't stopped these guys. They're still doing horse curry behavior, still trying to get their fingers in the public purse. This man exchanged amounts of 40 million rands with Hangwani Maumela. This man was receiving payments from Vusi Matlala-Wetsa Manyala off the SAPS tender and being told how to disperse that money. This very same SAPS tender that has led to the removal of the National Commissioner and putting him on the bench on the accusation that he had something to do with it. That same SAPS tender that they went and borrowed money from Mr. Mutsumi, all due respect to you, Sir Aigabi, Sir Klonip, highest levels of mklonipment for Mr. Mutsumi. But Mr. Mutsumi gave the money for this tender, expecting 100 million rands back. He should actually be one of the people, this guy, Suleiman Smoothie Karim, he should actually be one of the people charged in the SAPS tender. The thing is that IDEC messed this thing up because IDEC chose to selectively charge people, even people who had nothing to do with the process. The IDEC process of charging the National Commissioner instead of the direct beneficiary, you, Suleiman, if you're watching this, you should have been charged. Duena, clever. He should have been charged. But they charged the National Commissioner instead of this direct beneficiary. That is something that will never cease to be mind-boggling for its logical absurdity and its political bravado. But at least Advocate Andrea 101 Gorgeous Johnson was exposed. At least now we know that there is a hand of Khan somewhere here. The thing is, what happens higher than the hand of Khan? And now Khan himself, is he going to do the same thing? Is Khan also going to just say, I'm so cooling now. The level of cool that I've got, I can't come to you guys. I'm so sick. Sicker than Neo when he sang that song. I'm going to make a request here. Open call, open letter to Advocate Chakalaka. Advocate Chakalaka, it's time to call the main man. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's stop beating around the bush. There's no matcha in this bush. Let's call the main guy. Time for you guys to subpoena Hangwani Morgan Maumela and his mother, Mboneni Maumela. Babizeni bonke. Call them. It's time for the committee to call you, even though we respect you. Mr. Mutsumi, it's time for them to call you. Time for the commission to call Mr. Mtakati. I saw they called the taxi bosses there. Call these ones as well. They've been mentioned so many times. Let's not waste time anymore. Let's not, this smoothie thing, kawaii, let's